Hi friends, welcome to the Teachers Lounge podcast, Teach, Lead, Inspire. Ben Heckathorn here, your host and source of all things chattable in the education space. Well, ho, ho, ho. It smells like Christmas is in the air. Yep, and Christmas is coming. So, Christmas. Lovely for you to join us on the lounge today. There's scents of cinnamon and pine needles in the air, and if you're in Darwin, wetness. It's raining non-stop. Well, Christmas, hey? It's just around the corner and we're going to kick around a conversation about classrooms and gift giving. Now, any admin or leaders with teams can join in this chat, and it's also relevant to you. You know, students, your staff, kind of same. Now, specifically, I've got a point to make about how giving is good, and to really touch on how giving makes us better, and how giving authentically, like at Christmas, also makes memories. Now, maybe you've got your students or staff gifts already. Maybe you haven't, but the year is winding up and these chats are popping up more and more. So let's unwrap this gift and let's get inspired and Grinch out any Christmas Grinches tuning in. Sit back, grab some alcoholic eggnog, and let's chat Christmas. Yeah, so using the bell curve of probability, just imagine one of those bell curves, most of us are likely going to be going to the shops over the next couple of weekends to figure out what we can get our students as a parting Christmas gift, most likely utilising these last couple of weeks in November. It's also likely your non-teacher partner is probably scoffing at how much you may or may want to spend on your little darlings, maybe causing arguments or maybe guilting you with financial stress. In the nicest way possible in a family-friendly show, nick off. So now there's a double-edged sword moment here. Talking finances, I suppose, in this space. Number one, like the cost of living crisis really doesn't help the pinch to part ways with your hard-earned money, to bless your students or staff with gifts. And secondly, there's actually many cost-effective and cheap, cool things out there that make excellent gifts, like hashtag Temu, Kmart, the $2 shop. Now, towards the end of the podcast here, I'll list out a few cost-effective gift ideas that you may want to follow up on. Or you could just tune out and do a quick Google search, maybe finding something similar. I don't know. But before we jump in, gift giving, now specifically looking at Christmas, has a two-pronged benefit regime going on, which I can think of. Number one, it's not only a generous gesture, but it's actually an activity that positively impacts your mental health, so that it benefits you. And secondly, it's also a generous gesture that boosts happiness in the receiver, so it's benefiting them. So if you can catch that from the very start, gift giving, and we think of Christmas and our students in our classroom, it benefits you and it also benefits them. So first, let's jump in and bake this gingerbread house, starting with a philosophy of gift giving and why it's a good practice. Now, gift giving not only is a generous gesture, but it's an activity that I feel positively impacts mental health in quite a few different ways. So the first part we're going to look at is you. And so when we're gift giving, it benefits you. But how? So a few things that popped into my mind. Firstly, you may have heard or come across something called a helper's high. Okay, another way of saying boosting happiness. Now, and think about yourself here in the past. When you're giving gifts, it triggers the release of endorphins and dopamine. And that's the brain's feel-good chemicals. Not too dissimilar to when, the things we talk about in gaming and technology with our kids and having that dopamine hit. It's the same kind of thing. It releases this high. And that creates a sense of joy and satisfaction. Now, the act of giving, it shifts focus from ourselves to others. And that also builds into this feelings situation of, we're connecting now with connections and purpose, okay? And when those things happen, it's also increasing our well-being, our mental satisfaction, okay, our mental health. Now, an example of this just comes to mind. Now, each Christmas we give our own children gifts. Now, obviously, Lisa and I, we're not grinchy. We bless and we give. But we don't do it for self-gratification or to look good in front of our brothers and sisters. Oh, look what we got them. No. No, when we give, we see them open the gift, and there's that moment. And you get a little tingle, and it's such a blessing to see the other person, like our children, overwhelmed with joy and happiness. And that's the helper's high. And the same goes for giving to our students too. And yeah, sure, there's those wrap bags in every class that just go, yeah, and just put the gift off to the side. Like, whatever, Trevor. But remember, we're not giving for self-gratification. So none of that should really impact us. We've done our duty, we've given. We're giving out of a genuine love and generosity. So the helper's high comes to mind. Another factor that benefits you as the giver is like a relationship strengthening. So gift giving it's an expression of gratitude and appreciation. So by giving a gift, you're reinforcing bonds and building I suppose that sense of classroom community still. Now, I know we're at the end of the year and it's a bit late if you're kind of starting on that process, but it still draws the end of the year together nicely. Now, for teachers, this act of giving strengthens the relationship with students. Now, it fosters mutual respect and creates a positive classroom culture. So you might even, on the flip side, give a welcoming gift. So you can kind of catch that gift giving is important. So an example that pops into my head again, you never know the impact that giving has. As you may be receiving, so you're sending your class off into 2025, you might receive a sibling next year in your class again. And now you've already set those seeds into motion, and now that student coming into your class has a relationship that's kind of already established through their brother or sister. And again, you've got the same parents and, the vibes are risen. You've got rapport in motion. And gift giving, if you think about it, definitely strengthens your relationship with the students, their siblings, and the parents. So it's definitely a benefit to you. And the communication among the parent body is, have you heard of Mr. H or Mrs. So-and-so? They bought this thoughtful gift for my child and I just spoke volumes. They put it in their bedroom. It just builds relationship. It's a win-win situation. Now, I touched on it before, but this concept of purpose. And so gift giving, again, benefits you because there's an element of purpose. And just let me flesh that out a bit. So thoughtful gift giving, and I'm using the word thoughtful carefully opposed to just doing random gifts, but thoughtful gift giving, it involves reflecting on your students, their personality and needs, which can provide a meaningful sense of purpose for you. Now, I'm not suggesting here to go out and buy 25 different gifts for $100 each and you're spending $2,000 on your class, but the concept of just mulling over a specific gift for your class kind of does this. It draws out a purpose for you and a connection and this mental health thing as well, and particularly if you include some sort of individualization in your gift. So the key word here is intentionality. Like by focusing your energy and thinking on positive and constructive actions like gift giving, I suppose it combats feelings of stress and fatigue. We're at the end of the year. We're pretty cooked. And shifting your thinking into how can I bless someone with a gift? It replaces that stress and fatigue, particularly if you do this thinking over a few wines or so. And speaking of reducing stress, I did some research and I hate saying it, but the evidence says, when we're doing learning plans or pedagogy or something, and someone throws in evidence-based, I'm like, oh, come on, seriously. Everything is evidence-based. It's just spinning it in the way you want to spin it. Anyway, I digress. The evidence says acts of generosity have been shown to lower cortisol levels. That's like the stress hormone. And that contributes to improved mental and emotional health. So, in other words, it's a trump card. So if you're doing acts of generosity, boom, trump card, mental health. I know it's not that simple, but just catch the concept here that acting in generosity and love and blessing reduces some of those stress levels and takes the focus off yourself and puts it onto other people. Now, in the context of the classroom, the act of giving gifts can also bring a sense of closure to the school year, and for you as well, helping you feel accomplished. We're finished and at peace. It's almost like that full stop at the end of a sentence or the closing of a chapter. We're done here. And like, you may have had the class from hell this year. Done. Or maybe you've had a beautiful class, and a lovely way to finish is just giving gifts. But the stresses of lingeringness or being unfinished is helping that be gone. So you've gifted, you've finished, and goodbye. And so it also, contributes back into those. You might get a sibling coming in for next year, and it plants those seeds. But for this particular moment, it helps us being finished. And really, again, for me, finishing in a class, there's 150 million things to do when the kids leave, but you know that you've finished in that particular space. The kids finished, complete, done, and moved on, and you've passed on that gift to the next teacher. And the last one about benefiting you is this concept of gratitude. Now, as I mentioned before, there's a joy and appreciation expressed by the gift receiver, okay, your students. And that grows gratitude in you, the giver. So as we're probably all aware, this gratitude concept is linked to improved mood and better sleep and increased resilience as well. Now, for teachers, seeing students' happiness as such kind of reinforces the emotional rewards of their hard work through the year. So benefiting you by also encouraging and drawing out gratitude. So there's a few key things there about gift giving, and we're specifically thinking students and Christmas and your staff. That's kind of bigger than just handing over a gift. There's a whole mental health component, which I really can't unpack now, but just kind of scratching the surface, that is beneficial. So that's like the mental health spin that benefits you. So I'm going to park that there, and kind of building on that, going to start unpacking, or I love that word, unpacking, hashtag COVID 2020. But I'm just going to outline a few tips and tricks and thinkings behind why gift giving in general is good. Now, this is kind of thinking in the space of benefiting others, which is your students. Right, here's a new little segment for a quick sponsor grab. I'm actively looking for a show partner to come on board the wild ride of the Teachers Lounge, maybe Amart. That would be funny. But meanwhile, please punch a 5-star on Spotify and jump into the Facebook group Teachers Lounge, Teach, Lead, Inspire, and, like all the posts, throw some comments, questions in, that'd be great. But this is a space for a sponsor to jump in and really support and sponsor and drive the show forward. So the first thought in this space, when you are gift giving at Christmas, is you are celebrating relationships built over the year. If you think about it, a thoughtful gift symbolizes connection and rapport that you've built with your students throughout the year. It's a way to show appreciation of their efforts, their progress, their unique contributions to the class. When I've done gifts, I've taught a multitude of year levels, but when I've done gifts, I don't just willy-nilly quickly hand the gifts out at 2:59 p.m. and see you later, all the best. It's a special moment. And I find that space on the last day or in that last week, you've carved it out, and it's time to really just celebrate your relationships. And, I call out one student at a time, one by one, hand the gift. And it's not a weird ceremony or anything, but we're just gift giving, and we take the time to do that. Or maybe you do like a Secret Santa or something. That's probably more fun. But even still, we're just taking the time to celebrate and have a fun, maybe a little verbal reflect before and after about the appreciation and what we've achieved over the year, and just take that moment. So you are celebrating relationships built over the year by simply gift giving. Secondly, you're creating lasting memories. Now, gifts provide a tangible reminder of their time in your classroom. So those positive vibes with with school and learning. It's something. The gift is something they can keep and look at and help them remember, that time in year 9 or my year in grade 4, and be able to think and reflect on those moments of the year. Now, for younger students especially, the gift is a moment of joy that they will probably remember and maybe even keep for years. So before you just go out and buy a freaking rubber or pencil, just keep that notion of lasting memories in the back of your head and challenge yourself. What is something a little bit extra that I can give to hone in on this lasting memories concept? Now, it could be like a framed Bible verse or a motivational quote with their name on it. Quick sidebar. I watched a clip a few days ago, actually. Now, I don't know if it was an end of year Christmas thing or just a fun activity, but it was on one of the Facebook reels. But the teacher used AI to generate a photo of their student, all of them, grown up, but as a picture of them in the future. When I grow up, I want to be a kind of situation. So the teacher was handing out all these framed pictures one by one of, I think they were 9-year-olds. So I think there was a girl, and she came up and got a picture of her being an adult vet. I think there was an astronaut and a policeman, and someone in the class was videoing the children's reactions. The wow and the surprise. And I think the idea of it was to build and grow hope, as in you can be anything you strive to be. But it was really cool. It was celebrating and creating lasting memories through AI and future ambitions, and really just feeding their hopes and ambitions. It was really inspiring. I actually might just mental note that for future classes. But yeah, moving on, you're creating lasting memories. Now, legitimately, you're also spreading holiday cheer or Christmas cheer. Gift giving, particularly at Christmas, it creates an atmosphere of kindness and generosity and meets the spirit of the season. Now, as all this is kind of probably happening before family Christmas, etc., it does set a positive tone for the end of the term. And I think it really helps students, get in early on the spirit of Christmas and leave your class on a happy and festive note. Now, hopefully, however, you don't go out too hard too soon for yourself. Check that you've got enough left in the tank to sustain yourself up to Christmas as well. Or maybe you're just one of those uber positive Christmas junkies who put their tree up in January. Probably the last point in benefiting others, there's many, but a really important one is inclusivity. So you are, by gift giving, including every student in a really simple way. A small, thoughtful gift ensures that every child feels valued and included, really reinforcing that sense of belonging. Now, right now, I'm visualizing that student, who has struggled to fit in socially or had learning needs preventing that. They're included. They're having fun with everyone. They're belonging, and do what you want, but not doing gifts kind of makes them miss out or have that closure of the year for themselves. Now, it's especially meaningful for students who may not also receive much at home during Christmas season, or they're walking out your classroom door into full dysfunction. Maybe their only consistency and hope is walking into your classroom each morning. It's these kids that are really affected by the simplicity of the gesture of gift giving. Boom. There we go. I'm just going to kind of reflect on those there. So one, it's not only a generous gesture, but it's also an activity that positively impacts your mental health. So that's benefiting you. And secondly, it's a generous gesture that boosts happiness and life in the receiver, which is your students, which is benefiting them. Now, I'd really love to actually harp on that last point for a while, the importance of inclusivity and creating that space for those at-risk students. Now, it's simple, and I'm not going there, but in fleshing this out, it's really those students, for me, that amplifies the why I give a gift, and particularly a thoughtful one at that, not just a rando rubber and pen from Kmart for 50 cents. Moving forward, I want to touch on a concept called the ripple effect, or the butterfly effect, which is a sweet movie, by the way. Bit weird, artsy, butterfly effect. Ooh, also a local Aussie metal band, touring Darwin, hashtag 2025, shout out. Anyway, digress again. Gee, I'm terrible. The ripple effect. It's a concept that highlights how a small gesture of kindness can inspire students to be generous and kind to others during the holiday season. So it's that idea of throwing a pebble into a lake and creates a ripple, and the ripples just keep going and kind of amplify and get larger as they head out into the lake. So the ripple effect and gift giving, it really encourages a culture of gratitude and giving, setting a great example for the young minds that you have in not expecting gifts, but it would be highly anticipated that by modeling generosity in gift giving, the receiver would also be inspired to do that as well. So giving and creating that culture of giving with their siblings, their family, their teachers, and inspired for future giving. It excites them. So giving gifts to your students pre-Christmas is really more than just a tokenistic or peer pressured, may as well, kind of task. It's, there's meaning, importance, and influence in it. You're their teacher. You are literally their number one, maybe not literally, using that word incorrectly, but you are their number one influence outside their parents and Taylor Swift or Mr. Beast. All right, so as promised, I've got some meaningful gift ideas for teachers sitting in a pretty decent budget space. So I've concocted a list of affordable, thoughtful options that also have a bit of a personal touch and smallish, brings in an element of wow or cool, and is not lolly based. And now keep in mind, I've got a natural edge to primary education. So, take or leave these ideas, or DIY or Google search, whatevs, I don't care. But this is my list of what I've come up with. And there's 5, so you can take some notes or pause, rewind, or give me more likes and listens. That'd be fantastic. So number 1, and I've written these down, so I'm just reading them off a page. Number 1 idea is a word cloud art. So essentially, you can purchase a cheap frame. I think they're $1.50 from Kmart, and create a word cloud on the internet. So shaped like a hobby related item. It could be a soccer ball, guitar, whatever. This is the individualization part. So for the kids into soccer, do a soccer ball. And using words from classmates that describe the student or their interests. So I think my wife's actually doing something like this year, and she's put everyone's name on a bit of paper, and she's going to take a moment and then put the paper on everyone's desk, and then they've got 10-15 minutes to think of a couple of words to write next to everyone's name. So it could be John, and then Sarah's writing next to John's name, super sporty, funny. And so at the end of the activity, you're going to have like 25, 30 words for John. Okay, and then you can put them into the Wordle or the word cloud on the internet, and it just populates however you want. You can spend hours or minutes, up to you. But then, print them in color, chop them out, put them in a frame, sign it. It's personal, unique. Number 1, word cloud art. Number 2, super simple, like a customized bookmark. Now, they're actually really cool. Kids read books. My child's 9. He chews through, I think he's got 3 books on the go, and he needs bookmarks. Other than using tissues like his little sister. They are chalk and cheese, my kids. Separate rooms, you can see one is super tidy, organized. The other one is like a jungle. It's Anyway, if you know my family, you can probably pick who's who. Anyway, number 2, customize bookmarks. So create bookmarks with could be inspiring quotes or quotes from the class. Kids say the funniest stuff sometimes. It could be a personalized message or a picture picture that they've drawn or you've drawn or AI has drawn with the students' names or interest on it. Laminate them, double laminate them, triple laminate them. And yeah, it makes them both functional and keepsake worthy. And costing lots of laminating pouches, that's all, and snipping around. Number 3, like a mini memory jar. So think of that. Use small jars or containers. I think you can get like a pack of 6 for $2 from, again, shout out Kmart. Fill them up with like little rolled notes. So get the kids to fill out little compliments about each other, kind words, could be memories shared in the classroom. You could decorate the jar with some ribbons or whatever. I don't know, it's up to you. You get the point. But super simple, super effective, super cheap mini memory jars. And they can put that next to them or do whatever with it. Number 4, this is a pretty cool idea, I think personally. It's like a personalized puzzle. So create a small, not like a 1,000 piece. You could actually. But a small personalized puzzle with like an encouraging message or a class photo or a photo of them and you. Don't get too weird about it. It could be them doing their hobby or their word cloud. I don't know, but you get the idea. Printed on the puzzle. Use a printable puzzle template, or you can purchase blank puzzles. I think they're $5 or something. Or you could outsource the whole thing to Snapfish. I don't know. I'm just shooting from the hip now. But you get that personalized puzzle. $5, maybe up to $100. I don't know what your personal budget is. Maybe stick to the bookmark. And number 5 is pretty cool as well, like a class photo keepsake. So print out a class photo. I don't know about you, but when the school photographer comes around, he takes the photo, all formal, standing hands in front, legs together, thumbs pointing out. Usually, or sometimes they can take a funny one as well. They might ask, they might not, depending on your school. Anyway, get a class photo, take a selfie, up to you, whatever. And you can mount it on like some thicker card, laminate it. But it's also, you can pick up little standing frames from the $2 shop, really inexpensive. Add a little signature on the back. The class could sign a piece of paper. You can have everyone's signature. Go nuts. Short notes, but adding things from the classmates also makes it extra special, mixed in with your own personal little word of encouragement to see them off into their next year. So there you go. 5 little meaningful gift ideas for teachers on a budget. Word cloud art, customized bookmark, mini memory jar, personalized puzzle, and a class photo keepsake. Well, there you go. Hoping this little shortcake biscuit isn't overcooked, but please be inspired by the chat on the lounge. And as you may or may not be going about figuring out what you're going to buy your students as a Christmas gift, but please don't buy a generic pencil and a marshmallow Santa. Give it a crack, mate, and put a bit of effort and time and thought into something meaningful to really inspire your students, to motivate them in their own giving. Create a memory, create a moment. We're teachers. That's what we do. And if you've skipped to here, well, here's the too long, didn't read. Number 1, gift giving is good for you. Number 2, gift giving inspires your students and gives them hope. And really think of those at-risk kids that are in your care. Well, that's it. I'm done. Please jump on Spotify and push the like button. I think there's one person that's done it. It's probably actually me. But do that, boost the show, and the rest. And hopefully I'll be able to punch out a couple more episodes before the end of the year and when Christmas hits in. And I'll take a little break and brainstorm and wind up for 2025. That's it. Go do well. There we go. Thanks for listening to this episode release of the Teachers Lounge podcast. I really do hope you've enjoyed the dialogue. The information discussed today was just that, information only. It's not specific advice. If you take action on something you've heard today, it's important to make sure that you get professional advice about your unique situation before you proceed, whether that advice be legal, financial, accounting, medical, or otherwise. Please reach out to me if you have any questions or if there is anything I can do to support your teaching or leadership journey, whether it's another topic you'd like discussed or one-to-one support. If you do know someone that would benefit from listening to this episode, please remember to tell them about it, share the episode with them, or connect us on socials. I trust you're encouraged in your role, your leadership aspirations, and your ability to serve and inspire. And that's it. Go do well.